What's up, YouTube? This is an updated deck of my rust-proof deck. So let's go through it. First things first, what makes this deck work is these 3 Gen X Undines, because basically Gen X Undine first turn gives you a +2. You're able to dump a Treeborn Frog in the graveyard, and then you get to search one of these Gen X controllers. And this Gen X controller is actually very useful. I run 3 Machina Gear Frame, because Machina Gear Frame plus Machina Fortress is a very good combo. One thing I wanna add about Machina Fortress, if during your main phase you end up dumping this guy and another machine to the graveyard so you can get this guy out on the field, one thing that you cannot do, you cannot DD Crow during that time. The reason behind that being is that the special summon of Machina Fortress is a inherent special summon. What that means is that when you're special summoning it this way, Machina Fortress basically does not start a chain. Therefore, the opponent does not have enough response time to drop a DD Crow. So if you decide to send 2 machines to the graveyard to bring out this guy, you can definitely do it, and you don't have to fear about getting DD Crowed. Now, if this guy's in the graveyard after he's being destroyed and he just lays there, then yes, the opponent can DD Crow it. But that's an interesting fact about Machina Fortress. I run 3 Machina Force, so I can easily pitch these guys for the Machina Fortresses. On top of that, I run 3 Ancient Gear Golem. I went ahead and got the ultimate versions just because they look really sick. I run 3 Reborn Tengu because pretty much Reborn Tengu right now is very busted, and in my deck it makes it 10 times more busted. On top of that, I run 2 Effect Veilers because Effect Veilers right now is pretty much needed, and a lot of times that's my only out to a Trishula play, to a anything that has an effect that activates during the main phase, like Dark Arm Dragon, stuff like that. On top of more protection, I run 1 Gorz and 1 Tragodia. The reason I run Tragodia is because this deck does plus a lot, and you can easily have at least 5 to 6 cards in hand. So you drop a Tragodia, it's a 3000 beater, it's a 3600 beater, it works very well. For the spells, I run 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Scapegoat. This actually saved me during a regional. I ended up winning a match because of this. Went to the time, I had more life points. The opponent had 4 monsters. I had a face down Scapegoat. It protected me, and I got to win the match. I run 3 Enemy Controller because Enemy Controller plus Treeborn Frog gives you some tribute fodder for like a Ancient Gear Golem. I'll explain Ancient Gear Golem in a minute and how good it is. But this plus a Treeborn Frog, or this plus a Reborn Tengu, equals some broke plays. 1 Smashing Ground just for monster destruction. This is a new addition, a Forbidden Land. A lot of times I don't have a lot of protection for when I drop a Machina Fortress, and I don't want him to get bottomless, so I use a Forbidden Land Saw on it. It works very well. Dark Hole, Monster Reborn. Allure of Darkness because I have 4 Dark Monster targets in here, but at the same time I can easily search a Gen X controller with the Gen X Undine, so I'm guaranteed to have a Gen X controller in hand most of the time. For traps, I only run 2 traps, 2 Needle Sealing. What these allow me to do is if the opponent swarms the field, this deck cannot handle a lot of swarming. So if you use the 2 Needle Sealings, basically destroys. If you have 4 monsters on the field, both you and your opponent combined, you flip up Needle Sealing and it destroys all face-up monsters. So if you have like a face down, that one gets to stay, and the others that are face up get destroyed. It's a very good combo. Let me talk to you guys a little bit about Ancient Gear Golem. The reason I run this over, let's say, Gadgetron, I did play test with Gadgetron. Gadgetron was great and all, but I didn't like that my opponent could Monster Reborn Gadgetron and swing at me with that big 3000 beater. This is a 3000 attack, 3000 defense monster. However, you cannot Monster Reborn him. At the same time, if you tribute him, it has 2 effects. One, you pierce. A 3000 piercer is a lot. run this into a Spirit Reaper and it works pretty well. And then B is when this card attacks, the opponent cannot activate any spells or traps. That's a very good effect. And you can dump them for one of the Machina Fortresses. So it definitely works. This deck basically runs 7 Monster Reborns. So you can bring Machina Fortress back 7 times. I'll tell you this deck, top deck's great. You run down to, you and your opponent go down to top decking, most likely you're gonna win. Alright guys, that's the deck. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments below, and that's it. Peace, YouTube.